Okay guys, we are back in the bunker for some more acrylic testing. Yes, because we managed to get some of these quite new REVELL model colors. REVELL released new model color sets. They developed new model paints, and they are acrylic paints, and you can only get them in these sets. And we are about to test one of these sets in this episode. This one here, the model color set German aircraft World War II. So it's basically RLM colors. Each set contains 8 bottles. So we have 8 bottles in here, and you can see it has a nice picture in front of an ME262 and some more here ways on where you could use which paint. Now let's have a quick look at those paints. So here we are on the REVELL page. They have 4 of these sets. One for modern airliner, then one for RAF of World War II, then German aircraft of World War II, so Luftwaffe, and the 4th one is for sports car. Now remember, all these paints in here, you can only get them in these sets. Let's have a look here. We have the German aircraft one. So what they say here, you don't know because it's German. Let me just quickly switch this. So here is the model color set. We can see all the bottles with their dwarf hats. And what REVELL says is these are perfect colors for historic aircraft models. Like they have the perfect authenticity. You can paint accurate models with these paints. That's what they say. Exclusive colors. Here. The perfect color to design your models of the German Luftwaffe from the Second World War in detail and authentically. Authentic. It costs 29.99 euros, around like 30 euros. And if we divide it into 8, it is 3.75 euro per bottle. So let's quickly check the colors which are included. So it's RLM 65, light blue, RLM 70, black green, RLM 71, dark green, RLM 74, gray green, then the 75 gray violet, these 2 gray types, then RLM 76 light blue gray, RLM 81 the brown violet, and RLM 82 light green. Now we are about to test each and every one of these 8 RLM paints because I have prepared a little something to make the test interesting, and hopefully we get something useful out of it. At this point, I would also like to thank REVELL for sending us this model kit here. No, it's not a model kit, it's a model set. I would love to give thanks to REVELL for sending us this model color set here so we can have a look at it at the channel and test it and present it to you guys. So then we will know what's up with the new REVELL acrylic paints. And I have another idea, something, a proposal, a request to REVELL where I need your help. Like you guys, you can help me request something from REVELL. If you're up for it, stay in the video. I'll let you know what I mean. Let's go. And here we have our test object. I quickly assembled a Northrop P61 Black Widow. It's the 172 scale Airfix vintage kit, and you can see I also included the pilots and everything, even though they are going to be completely covered. As you maybe have seen in one of my posts, in my community posts, Gaahleri contacted us and sent us a Mobius airbrush, one of their airbrushes, Mobius 0.2 millimeters, so that we could check it in the channel. I thought it's a good opportunity to do this for this REVELL paint test, but shortly after I started applying the gray primer, somehow it got jammed. Now, because the air cap was full of primer or paint, during the airbrushing, it spitted out some of the primer when I just pushed down the trigger without even pulling it back. So no paint should be coming through, but because the air cap was full of paint, yeah, this paint rest was spitted out on the surface. Not really nice. So I completely disassembled the entire Mobius Gaahleri airbrush cleaned it, assembled it back, to give it a second try. Now the airbrush itself, I have to say, it looks very cool. It feels very good in your hand. I like it. It's heavy. It's beautifully done. The design is nice. There's nothing bad to say about it. When I hold this in my hand for the first time, I was very happy. I was a bit less happy when I started using it. The first paint I used was RLM 65. You can see the bottle of these new model colors here. They have a nice practical tip for precise dosing. It's also quite clean. It's not messy. Usually these bottles, the tips get messed up quite quickly, but these bottles, yeah, it's a good design, a good concept. You can see the consistency of the paint is already thinned down. It has a fluid consistency already. They say it's ready to paint and ready to spray. Now, I believe you can spray this through your airbrush when you have a big needle size and enough pressure on your compressor. You can do this without thinning it down. But since I'm working with small needle sizes, like maximum is 0.35 millimeters, I believe, with the Iwata, yeah, I rather thin it down a bit. At first, I used a 50-50 mix, but it was thinned down too much. So in the end, I think I ended up with a 70% paint, 30% thinner mix. Maybe 60-40, but more leaning towards 70 to 30%. So there's not much thinner needed, if any, and I believe if you use these paints for brush painting, you can use it right away straight out of the bottle. Now the second tone in our test was RLM 71, Dunkelgrün. Again, I just mixed it a bit with Vallejo's airbrush thinner. That's maybe important. I used the Vallejo acrylic thinner. The coverage, I have to say, is quite good. But I also need to mention that the Gaahleri airbrush, which here I gave it a second try, it sprays out, I don't know, the spray pattern is strange to me. You can see it here, what happened. The spraying pattern changed. At first, on the black primer, it was okay. On the gray primer, it started to spray out and being jammed already again. I'm just covering the entire surface with plain paint. I could manage to do it. But I don't know, man. The spray pattern is too rough. And it has a angled shape somehow. And here I was really trying to make it flow again, get the paint flowing through this airbrush, because it didn't spray continuously. And then it started happening that the trigger got stuck. You can see it here. Whenever I turned down the pressure of the compressor, the trigger wouldn't go up. Here I put the pressure back up and the trigger will immediately pop up again. But as soon as I reduced the pressure, which I need to spray with reduced pressure, the trigger will get stuck when I just push it down. So you can adjust the pressure also on the airbrush itself. It has this adjusting wheel. I did try out, but I could not manage to make it work properly. So I switched my airbrush to be able to spray the RLM 75 Grau-Violet in a proper manner. I masked the surface to get a clean line and started applying it first over the black primer and then over the gray, almost white looking primer. It's a very light gray primer. It says gray, but it dries in a very light gray. Now again here I kept the feeling that the coverage of these paints is very good. The coverage is really nice. So I continued with RLM 82, which is Hellgrün. Light green, applied first on a black primed surface and then on the gray primed surface. Now during this test I could convince myself that these new REVELL model colors are really nice, and I absolutely can recommend these paints for you as well. So I will put the link to the product in the video description. You can get it, you can grab a pack of these if you see it somewhere. And to make the test a bit more interesting and a better reality check, let's say, I did a pre-shading on the lower surface first. So we have a gray primer base, and then I did a black panel line shading over it. And this time I'm not just covering the entire surface, plain surface. No, I'm going in and start filling kind of panel per panel, going in a bit more fine with less pressure. And what I started here is to add a bit of retarder or flow improver into the mix. So I mixed the paint, let's say 30 drops of paint, 3 drops of flow improver, Vallejo's flow improver, and then around 15 to 20 drops of airbrush thinner. And I found out that this will give me the exact perfect consistency to do a fine paint job when I have a pre-shading and I just want to fill the panels and do not overspray the entire pre-shading. So thank you, Frau Wittke from REVELL, so that we can test it on the channel and show it to you guys. This is really nice, and since I really like these colors, I want to use them in a real build. This P61 is also a model kit, but it's a test object. And what model kit would be better than a beautiful REVELL Luftwaffe model kit to then use these new paints? And that's where I started thinking, we should have a Rusty Scale REVELL Luftwaffe kit petition. Like, you guys, please leave a comment, tell me which REVELL Luftwaffe kit you want me to build and then paint with the colors of these model sets that we have in this test right here. Please let me know, leave a comment. Which REVELL kit, not 132 scale, okay? Anything else, I'm up for it. If we will have a few suggestions, I will put them together and put up a poll in a community post so people can vote on it. And the results of these votings we will present to Frau Wittke from REVELL and ask her to send us this kit so we can have it here on the channel. Sounds like a great idea to me, so please, if you're up for it, leave a comment, tell me which REVELL Luftwaffe kit you want me to build and then paint with these new paints. So maybe we can get REVELL to send it to us. So thanks a lot for your participation. Let's do this. So here we have the finished result. All the paints have completely dried now. We have the upper surface where we just masked the section and did a full coverage of the surface. And we have the lower surface where we did some pre-shading and went in a little bit more fine and filled the panels and not just completely filled everything. We will begin with the upper surface and compare how the paint has dried on the different surfaces. The wingtips are both RLM 71 dunkelgrün, dark green. This is dark green on the gray primer. Gray primer. This one here on the black primer. Now remember, I didn't cover anything with a varnish. This is just the pure paint. Now the gray intersection here is RLM 75, gray violet. The RLM 75 on the gray primer surface. RLM 75 on the black primer. In the middle we have RLM 65 hellblau. This is how it has dried on the gray primer. And right next to it, the black primer. As you can see, with all the 3 other paints, there's not much difference, right? Which is unusual, especially the RLM 65 here, which is a light blue, has a very good coverage. RLM 82 hellgrün, light green, did not really behave in the same way. This is on black primer, and this is on the gray primer. The way it has dried on the gray primer, I do not particularly like it. It does not look too bad here on the camera. Let me switch the light here a bit. How about that? It looks better on the camera than in reality. This is on black primer. And this is the camera not focusing. And this is on gray primer. I mean, it's not bad. It's not bad. Not at all. Not at all. But not just, I'm saying, not as good as the RLM 65 here. Now let's have a look at the test results of the lower surface where we applied appreciating first. So this here is RLM 76 Lichtblau, or as they say, Lichtblau Grau. Usually I'm used to this having a bit more bluish, a little bit more blue-green, just a slight blue-green tone. This has a much lower blue tone than the RLM 65 over here compared to the 76. Now what I also need to say when we have a look at this, all the paints dry in a very beautiful flat finish. In the middle we have RLM 81 Braun Violet. Yeah, you can see it better in this angle here, from this angle. Really nice. Right next to it sits RLM 74, gray-green, grau-grün. This has also dried in a very interesting tone. Up here you can see I cover a bit less just to see how the effect will come out, will turn out. It turned out very interesting. Looks very interesting. A beautiful tone. And last but not least, we have the famous RLM 70 black-green, schwarz-grün, which we applied here on the entire wing. Also has dried very beautiful tone. Although I think for black green, I don't know if it's black enough, if it's dark enough. So if we compare this, yeah, okay. This is the hellgrün. This is the black green. We're gonna turn the aircraft over and we will see dark green. Yeah, okay. This one here is much darker than dark green. Also dark green on the black surface compared to this. When I saw the color here in this bottle, this is RLM 70, black green. I was thinking like, man, this can't be true. This is never ever dark enough to be black green. You see the green tone here? But when I applied it, there's a big difference. See? That's the paint dried here. You know, here, like dark green. This would be dark green. If I would tell you this surface was sprayed with this out of this bottle, you would believe it, right? But no, it's this one here. So when this paint dries, it becomes quite dark. Cool stuff. Cool stuff, REVELL. How did you do that? So I'm very positive about the new REVELL model color acrylic paints, and I would really love to apply those on a beautiful REVELL model. So please do not forget, leave your suggestion in the comments. Which beautiful REVELL model kit of the Luftwaffe should I use to paint it with this model color set? Please leave a comment and let us know. Thanks a lot. So as always, thanks for watching. See you in the next one. Bye bye.